to the question, will hybrid working become the new normal for parliaments? There is an overwhelming yes. It will become the new normal in the workings of parliament. Obviously, there will always be differing views in terms of the extent of that. And I'll reflect on that later on, but also Honorable Faba has also spoken to that matter. But the one thing that comes out of certainly the first panel that I want to highlight is the issue of accessibility that has come up sharply. And the sense is that hybrid arrangements have improved attendance in proceedings of parliament. And I can certainly attest to that. I mean, since we introduced the hybrid working arrangements during COVID, but also were compelled to continue with the hybrid arrangement because our parliament was bent down, we have never had quorum problems. It's often all the time we have to vote. There is a quorum because more members have access to the proceedings of parliament. They are there physically, some, and others are there obviously online. So from the side of efficiency, improving the efficiency of parliament, that has certainly happened even in our own case. Of course, the panelists have raised the issue of transparency. More have access, and that hybrid working arrangements may actually be the only way, the only option for certain categories of people, be it women, be it older members, who may not always be able to physically come to parliament. So hybrid becomes the option that works for them. And of course, members with physical limitations, hybrid is able to enable them to participate fully in the proceedings of parliament. But certainly there are issues that need to be attended to. This is what is coming out of the conversation. The infrastructure must be improved, whether as it applies to the respective countries in general, but also even in terms of the actual digital platforms that we use. In my own parliament, for instance, we still are not, of course, we're working on this, but the issue of voting electronically is still an issue. We're not there yet. We are busy with pilot projects there, but we're still not there yet. And that needs to be improved so that members can also be able to vote online and not have to do other forms of voting because they cannot vote online. The issue of digital skills, both as it applies to members and staff, because as staff too, we need to be enhanced in terms of how we attend to the issues of technology and literacy. Of course, the panelists have raised the issue of funding for countries that cannot afford some of these things, because there are more pressing things for those countries to attend to, and therefore they have limitations in terms of what they can provide for in this regard. And so there's a need for funding that has come up. But again, the honourable members are saying that keep the options, keep both options. For those members who prefer to attend proceedings physically, must have the option to come to parliament and attend physically. And for those that are comfortable with online, are comfortable with technology, they must continue to have access to that. So they say, hold on to the opportunity. Don't lose the opportunity that has been presented by, especially by COVID, and for, of course, like in our case, by other circumstances. And of course, a lot of us, including myself, before COVID, we didn't know about virtual meetings, certainly in the public sector, or at least we didn't use it, but I'm sure colleagues in the ICT sector, they knew about it, but some of us just didn't know about it. So it's an opportunity that certainly has been presented and that we must hold on to, because it improves flexibility, as the point has been made quite clearly in this conversation. The matter of chaos has been raised, possible chaos, and we've had our own share of chaotic sittings, and some of them, of course, the virtual platforms have not always assisted. But how do you deal with that? You deal with that by improving your regulatory framework. So when we started off with the virtual sittings, hybrid sittings, we had to look at our rules and in fact improve our rules to provide for virtual sittings, to provide for hybrid sittings, so that the rules as they apply to ordinary meetings of the House also apply in the case of virtual meetings or hybrid meetings. So improve your regulatory framework, update them to provide for this. Of course, I must say that there will always be differing views, as I said, Honorable Faba has said that, and that members would would feel more enabled if they are there physically, and that those they are supposed to hold accountable are also there physically. So there will always be those two views, those that say, please hybrid, and others would say, please, not in every respect. In our case, currently, we are, I think, 95% on virtual for committees of parliament, and of course, in the NA, National Assembly, I would say 100% hybrid because of space limitations. If we didn't have space limitations, I suspect that would have been back in terms of plenaries physically. But we do hold physical sittings for special events. So, Chairperson, I think that on part two, the issue of inquiries, I think there ought to be those, not only to improve what we already have, but also to just prepare for the future, so that should we hit situations like we did with COVID, parliaments are ready, but also there is proper funding for hybrid arrangements. So, in conclusion, I think that bearing in mind the limitations that are presented by hybrid, but the sense is that we need hybrid, we need to continue with this hybrid arrangement. Thank you so much.